Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting on Can TV. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. We got a big show for you today. We got the Harv War Bangerz in the building to talk some boxing with us. A lot of big-time fights coming up. Make sure you go on YouTube, subscribe to the Spectator Sporting page, hit that bell, leave comments. We do respond. We're also live on Spotify. And I want to give a special shout-out to Julio Walton for setting this all up. And we have some sponsors. Cornitos Don Pedro, Myra Vargas, Lucy Martinez Beauty Salon, and United Union of Roofers Local 11. Much appreciated. Now let's get to our first boxer here. We got lightweight, Mr. Will Nino Holcomb in the building. 15-5, 10 knockouts. How you doing, Will?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Man, no problem, man. So I heard a story like 7 years ago that you fell out of love with boxing, but then you got back into it. What brought you back to boxing?
I kind of had a long journey, but originally I had been around boxing for a while. Originally was just training, and then maybe 2 years after graduating high school, bouncing around in college, I fell back in love with boxing after meeting a gym in Columbia, Missouri, and literally the trainer made me fight him.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, you good?" And from there, he kind of took me in, and we started bouncing around from St. Louis to Kansas City, kind of all around Missouri, and really putting in work and trying to do this.
That's dope. That's dope.
All right, Will. So all your fights are full of action. All right, that's what I've noticed. And you bring plenty of pressure in constant attack mode. Do you believe in the offense is your best defense strategy?
That's a great question. Me personally, I'm more of a defense to offense kind of guy. But literally, like I told you, when I first got my start in Missouri, I was losing. I thought I was winning. I was losing. I went maybe 1-4. It was either 2-3 or 1-4. But I drastically remember every loss. And then I went to the St. Louis Golden Gloves, made it to the finals. I was so excited. Honestly, I thought defense was my best weapon. Literally lost the championship fight. I don't think I got hit more than 3 times.
Okay.
And that's kind of the feeling again where I was like, I was going to quit boxing. I'm like, fighting? I thought I won. I was literally going to quit boxing. I don't know the man from a can of paint, but some old guy came to me in the audience, and he was like, "Man, you good? You think you good too?" And I'm like, "Well, like I lost. Like I just said straight up, I lost." And pretty much he told me, "You got skills, but you got to change a lot. This is a sport of taking. You can't come in there and just move around." I literally, like I said, I felt like I only got hit maybe 2 times, if that, throughout the fight. First round, I bust dude up, bleeding, and then I danced around the rest of the fight. I just knew I was going to get my hand raised.
Yeah.
So it was a really disappointing moment at the end, but it was a very transformative moment because after he kind of gave me those words, I realized, like, you're more than right. This ain't my city. It's also a take sport, and I can't come in the mindset with just me showcasing one thing and not really giving everybody a full experience. So from then on, I started to kind of tune in more offensively.
Okay.
Honestly, was a big fan of the Mayweather approach. I'm shoulder rolling. Literally, I'm telling you, I probably got hit once or twice, and it wasn't in the face.
Right.
So after that, man, like I said, I almost quit boxing, but that was a pivotal moment for me. That was a pivotal moment for me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that explains why I see you stalking down your opponents in the ring when I look at the film. So you won the Golden Gloves in Chicago. You won a boxing tournament in Milwaukee. You made it to the Golden Gloves finals in St. Louis and Kansas City. And you sparred in several other cities in the nation. Now, which city has the best competition?
I gotta go with Chicago. The whole
Shot-town,
team.
shot-town.
Hey, I've met some of the realest fighters in Chicago, and man, like I was telling you, boxing has kind of taught me a lot about myself, but it's a life journey. And just growing up in this city honestly shows you a lot. And I see a lot in the fighters that I do meet. I honestly want to say we got some of the best fighters.
Absolutely.
All right, so
Absolutely.
what are some setbacks or adversity that you had to overcome in the ring?
In the ring, that's another great question. In the ring, honestly, that first story as far as me being too defensive, I feel like a lot of my adversity came outside of the ring. I remember hearing a quote like, boxing is easy and life is hard. Honestly, I really fit with that. Like, I feel like I've had a lot of struggles through life, so it was hard to kind of do boxing. There was nobody fronting my move or paying my way. So again, it was like I had to learn how to champion life before I could really showcase what I'm doing in the ring. So it's just kind of just been a journey.
That's pretty cool, man. So you talked about the journey in boxing. Tell me about like training for a fight, like the workout and the regimen that it takes for you to actually be prepared for a fight.
Boxing takes a lot of discipline. It's those early mornings, like they tell you on the TV and in the movies. It's those early mornings. It's that, hey, you putting that snack to the side, putting away the junk, putting away the women for a minute. It's things of that nature. Because I mean, if you can't be disciplined with yourself, I don't know how you gonna do it in the ring. And when it's time to fight, or especially when I know it's tournament time, tournament mode, I'm in a different mode. I'm running my miles. I'm in the gym. Sometimes I wake up and do a workout just because I don't know what my opponent is doing, but honestly, I'm fighting myself. Literally, I'm fighting myself.
I like that.
So,
I like that. You watch a Spectator Sport and it's on Can TV. So, is there a boxer, past or present, that you admire, that you kind of maybe use some from them, or somebody that you watched that inspired you, kind of helped you out a little bit?
I'll be honest. I'm inspired by a lot of them. I try to take a little bit from everybody, but remix it like with my own touch. One of my favorite fighters is James Toney, just because he's a dog. He'll stand there and fight you, but he also has that slick in the pocket movement. Of course, Mayweather. I'm a huge fan of Mike Tyson. I want to throw that hook and go to the body just like that too. It's a lot on top of my head.
I love James Toney.
James Toney is actually up there for me. Like, and he's a dog, so he kind of got that full package. Holyfield as well.
Holyfield,
I like fighters with a lot of grit. I don't care if it's on offense or defense, but I like guys that are willing to push the fight or stand in the fire. So,
is that what you consider yourself? A person with a lot of grit? Somebody who willing?
Yes. And I'm willing to stand in the fire. Like I said, when I first started boxing, I was real slick and defensive. I wasn't really trying to get points. I thought maybe the judges would give me points for my defense. My transition to Chicago, I knew I had to be more offensive. Even staying in Missouri, I took a Golden Glove fight out here, but I didn't really have a boxing team. I just came and did it. Like I said, I don't mind standing in the fire. So I came and did it, and I lost. Again, people was like, man, you good. My opponent asked me to join his sparring camp.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I appreciated it, but in the moment, I was offended. Like, man, you won. Like, I don't know what you want from me, but moving back, I knew I had to be more offensive. I wanted to start to showcase more of a full package.
Okay.
So like I said, I don't mind standing in the fire. Sometimes I let my opponent hit me. And I probably shouldn't say that, but I know the crowd loves that engagement. Right. And then my opponent is willing to stand there for a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you're a lightweight right now. So you're about to be a professional, your first fight coming up. Now, in professional boxing, what is the deepest weight class in your opinion?
The lightweight and the welterweight division. Even in history, the greatest fighters kind of bounce up and down between those weights. Other than that, I'd say right now maybe the middleweight class that Canelo's crashing. And you see he's bouncing around. Yeah. He's switching weights too. So, but first I got to go between lightweight and welter.
I hear you. I hear you. So now there's some big fights coming up. Errol Spence, Tyson Fury, Shakur Stevenson, Canelo, and a lot of elite fighters are about to box in the next couple of months. Which fight are you looking forward to seeing the most?
I really want to see this Errol Spence fight. I'm a fan. I can't lie. I'm too honest to lie. I'm an Errol Spence fan. I'm also a Terrence Crawford fan, so I'm really looking forward to Errol Spence and seeing what he showcases and if he's able to push forward, because you guys is different. And he also has that grit I'm talking about. He got something to him, so I'm looking to see the Errol Spence fight for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Uga's coming from Cuba, went through a lot to get here, so you know he's going to come out with it. And now, Your first professional fight is coming up on April the 30th.
April 30th.
Right
Harv
around
Wars.
the corner.
Yeah.
Now, there's going to be no headgear, smaller gloves, more rounds. How is you and your camp preparing for this transition from amateur to professional fighting?
It's kind of taking me back to how I used to originally train and like not wanting to get hit, but lately I've been practicing without the headgear at times. Of course, the sparring with guys, a lot of defensive drills, and then I really faithfully trust my offense, especially if I'm hitting guys with headgear on and they can't handle it at that moment. So we still sharpening and tuning up the offense, but kind of similar strategy in offense, but being more defense to offense and sharper off the reflex.
Oh, okay. So we know you fighting on April 30th. That's correct.
April 30th.
Do you know who you're gonna be fighting?
I do. I almost forgot the name because I'm fighting me, but Thomas De Leon.
Okay.
Thomas De Leon. He's a taller cat from the little film I seen, but I just know what I need to go in there and work.
Okay.
Is that Cicero Stadium?
Cicero Stadium.
Yep.
April 30th. Chicago, come out.
Yep. You want to shout out any social
I want to
medias?
give a big shout out to Harv Wars Bangerz.
Yeah.
Of course, they've been rocking with me since my amateur career. I got a couple knockouts on their page as well. I want to give a shout out to Nino Boxing, which is my personal brand that I put out. I've been doing hand pads and flash drills around the city, so I've been getting a lot of support just off the people that I've trained. I want to give a shout out to Youth Guidance, which I work for. I've been working with the youth for a long time. They've also been a support. They ended up buying a section for my championship fight in the Golden Gloves.
Let's go.
I want to give a bunch of shout outs, but my mind is everywhere, man. Big shout out to boxing. I feel like it opens up the doors for a lot of us that maybe wouldn't be able to get to experience certain things, but it's taking us around the world. So, man, shout out to all the fighters that's on the card as well.
Man, I appreciate your time. Will,
Appreciate
Nino,
y'all having me.
Will, Nino Holcomb, finna be professional.
Appreciate
man,
y'all having
can't wait to, man, definitely got to check you out. We appreciate you, Will.
All right, it's up.
Yeah, next fighter we got is 12-year-old Jalen Marvin. Before we start with Jalen, let's give the sponsors another shout out. Carnitos, Don Pedro, Myra Vargas, Lucy Martinez Beauty Salon, and United Union of Roofers Local 11. Much appreciated. We got Jalen Marvin, 12-year-old from Round 1 Fitness and Boxing in Hitch Elementary School. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Hey.
Nervous, but
Oh, man.
let's get through it.
I like that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, man, you 12 years old. What got you into boxing?
Like my dad was saying earlier, like off the screen, he just asked me, do you want to do boxing? And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I was just 6. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But, like, throughout the process, I just got, like, into it, and I fell in love.
That's what's up.
I hear you, man. So, looking at the film, you're an orthodox boxer, and you like to work the jab. Describe your boxing style.
And I just work on the basics. Like, I never known, like, the 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I just know the basics. That's what I really work with.
Okay, keeping the base. I feel
Keep
you.
fundamentals.
So I see you had a 1-1 record in the USA boxing.
Yes.
What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that I need to be more aggressive with my fights. Like, that's what judges look for.
True.
Yeah.
High punch count.
Yeah.
Impress them. Okay.
So they like them being aggressive. So that made you more aggressive.
Yes.
Okay. So you went to a Chicago public school and led boxing drill and motivated some kids at school. How was that experience for you?
I was really nervous. Like, I'm really nervous in front of crowds, but once I, like, get into it, it's natural.
Nice.
All right.
And then now your dad, I know you and your dad, y'all train together. How was training for you? Like if you're preparing for a fight, how was training? How much of a workout holic are you right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm really lazy. I don't really do it that much.
Yeah. But if you're preparing for a fight, that's when you ramp it up?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Jalen, is there a boxer, past or present, that you like the most?
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. I like.
What you like about Floyd?
He was basic, like, dodges, the ones.
Okay.
I just really looked up to him.
Nice. He's defense. He is one of the technician in that ring, no question about it. So you got any fights coming up?
Maybe this year, but I don't know.
You don't know. You ready to fight?
I think so.
Hey, that's what's up, man. So hopefully we'll see you fighting soon, man. We want to thank Jalen Marvin, and now we about to talk to his father, Mr. Henry Marvin. Before we go on, make sure you're watching Spectator Sporting on Can TV. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. Shout out to the donors of the show, Carnitas, Don Pedro, Myra Vargas, Lucy Martinez Beauty Salon, and United Union of Roofers Local 11. And now we got the father of Jalen, Mr. Henry Marvin. How you doing?
Doing well, yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So you actually own this, explain, you actually own this gym?
Right, so how we started out of Portage Park Boxing, which is a park district up on the northwest side of Chicago. And I was actually there just volunteering, and my son was boxing out of there, so it just went hand in hand. And eventually with Corona, the park district shut down, so then I took that time to start my own business, which is Round One Fitness and Boxing.
Nice.
And we've right now we're working at year 2, so we've slowly growing and going from there. So hopefully, more experiences and more opportunity comes along the way as well.
And what motivated you to, you started the gym? What made you embrace boxing?
I've always liked boxing as a kid, and once I had my son, I said, man, this would be a good opportunity. And eventually, I had the dad bod, so eventually I started working now. I started eating better, and I put myself in the position where I started training myself.
Okay.
I'm coach first, fighter second, so I don't walk around thinking I'm this big tough guy. But I did put myself in my son's shoes to show him, say, hey, I'm doing it too. You're not the only one. So I feel like that's a good way to kind of inspire your son. So I still train. My coach is Jose Ayala, so from time to time we do pad work and stuff like that. I've done a few sparring sessions as well, but nothing where it's like, oh, I'm competitive ready, but something to, a few tools up my sleeve, I guess.
That's dope. That's dope. No doubt.
So what are some of the goals you have for Round One Fitness and Boxing?
So my goals is pretty much make a safe haven for inner city kids. I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood, and I feel like boxing could be an outlet just to have kids come and train and pretty much get them off the streets, and just a way to give back. And it's more so just trying to build and interact with anybody that's willing to do it. And I feel like many people have a wrong perspective of boxing. They think, oh, you're going to get punched in the face. Well, you need to do certain things to eventually get to that. So you got to put in the training and, have a few goals. And then hopefully when the times come, you're ready for it. So I definitely want to use boxing as an outlet to just reach out to anybody. Doesn't matter ethnicity, color, anything, you're welcome. So,
absolutely. That's dope.
How many kids you got coming through to your gym?
So I work with about 15 to 20 kids. I do have about 4 kids that are ready to compete. We just need a good time frame when to do it. I have 2 17-year-olds. They're pretty solid, so they're ready to get some work in. Hopefully my son can get some work later on this year, and then I have another kiddo. But most likely all the kiddos I have, they kind of do it just for fun, so I try to maintain it as that. But also too, I teach them that say, hey, whatever I teach you, maybe one day you might use this to really defend yourself. And that's the perspective of it, where I want you to use this if you need to. So don't walk around thinking you're tough, because there's always someone more bad out there. So
you can get knocked out.
Right, but use it to your benefit if you really have to. So, and I feel like one thing that really inspired me, I love Clarissa Shields. She's like, when I saw her fight, women's boxing is like, I'm kind of like, man, I want to, make a difference, because I feel like a lot of women boxing, it's like rumbling. But if you see Clarissa Shields, man, she has the skill. So that's my perspective as far as especially teaching and training, young girls that want to do this, or hey, you know what, just do it for your own benefit. you might, need it one day to defend yourself. So that's inspiration as well too, to kind of keep going as well.
That's pretty cool, man. So I asked your son, I'm gonna ask you about. You went to the Chicago. Y'all both went to the Chicago public school, led boxing drills and stuff. What was that like for you?
It was a good experience, as a father and son duo. Hey, let's give back to these kids where, let's give them inspiration, because we don't know what they're going through. So I thought the idea of bringing him through, say, hey, someone that looks just like you and someone that is your age, to say, hey, you know what, you could do it too, because I do it. And, just for me to give him that push, kind of teach him and say, hey, we could really take this to the next level if you wanted to. We could, be business partners one day and just, leave a good thing behind after we're gone. So I kind of want to give that family, bloodline as it continues. So I say, hey, the Marvins, a bunch of fighters coming out of there.
Hey, that's great. So. Jalen is your son,
right?
But you also train Jalen. So how do you separate training from him being your son and really being a tough trainer for him?
That's a good question. So when we first started, I was very, man, you gotta do this. But I started slowly learning and say, hey, put yourself in his shoes. So I kind of fell back a little bit. So when he didn't want to practice or compete, I held back, because I'm saying, hey, you know what? Maybe some good time off would be needed. But then I started thinking as a fighter too, because you're gonna have your days. One day you're hot and ready, and next day you're at your lowest. So I try to maintain how to work between father and coach, and I've worked on balancing both out. So and I still have a lot to learn. So it's not a overnight process.
Yeah. So what is some of Jalen's strengths in the ring?
So he definitely has a skill. His one is just, it's pretty, it's good. So from what I've seen I've seen kids he's fought where they just come in ready to rumble, and I would just see him just snap that jab, and those kids' heads would go all the way back. Definitely knows how to counter, definitely has the movement. And like you mentioned before, it was just a matter of being aggressive, but he was 8 at the time, so now at 12, I think it's a whole different demeanor, whole different perspective. And I see it too, because when he spars, I see like, oh man, if you were like that at 8, whew, man, but
get excited, huh?
Right, exactly. So, but it's joy to me too, because one, I teach him, hey, you're gonna be on these streets, but be good, and I don't have to be worried about him, being outside, because I know he can manage and take care of himself, which is good. So it is good to see him, in there, even now that he's not competing, but just the perspective of him sparring is great.
Yeah, I did. That's what I noticed too. That jab, I noticed that right away when I was looking at the footage. But is there something else that he needs to improve on in the ring?
Aggressiveness, and then. I feel like working his angles better, and then I teach him. There's footage where I'm teaching him how to go back, how to not go all the way back, but try to cut angles and stuff like that, because having that pressure applied can it can get to you. So and then also too, I want him to come a little bit more forward. So it's just a matter of repetition and staying consistent with the craft. So.
Yeah, so there's some big fights coming up, professional fights. I'm sure you and your son probably want to check some out. Oscar Valdez going against Shakur Stevenson. You got Canelo going against Bivol, Ugas, Spence. What fight are you guys really looking forward to seeing?
I definitely want to watch Spence. I've been a fan of him. I like Ugas too. When he fought Manny Pacquiao, people thought it was just going to be a walk in the park. I've seen Ugas fight before, and I said, man, this guy has something to him too. So it would be a good fight. Definitely like seeing Canelo. I like his craft. I like his dedication. So I feel like kids that will see him is like that's someone you want to, follow his footsteps.
No doubt.
I like Tyson Fury. I love the way he just talks smack. But he backs it up.
He backs it up all the time. Great boxer.
Right. And then so those are definitely good fights to watch, and I'm sure we're going to have some good ones. Also too, I'm a big fan of Stevenson. So I like Valdez, but I like. The only reason why I like Stevenson more because I know Chicago pro here. His name's Christian Williams. That actually has done work with him. So that's kind of like, hey, you know, I kind of rock with that side more. But they're both good fighters as well. So, you know, best man win that night.
Yeah, I'm getting excited. We finally get some good matches coming.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So, you was talking about your round one fitness. Go ahead and explain how people get in contact with you.
Yeah, so you could look up Round 1 Fitness and Boxing. I also have a YouTube channel. It's called Round 1 Fitness and Boxing. Or Instagram is Henry X. Or if you want to look me up on Facebook, it's Henry Marvin. I do have my links linked up to all the pages. So if you want to contact me as well, you could do that by just clicking and go from there.
Nice.
And then you got any plans for Jalen fighting soon?
Yeah, we get some work in, and hopefully, you know, that fire comes back and says, hey, you know, Dad, I'm ready. So, and you know, it's at his pace, so I don't want to force it and
Right.
make him lose love for it. So. Just trying to be coach and a father at the same time. So when he's ready, hopefully soon, I'm ready because I know he's got it. But you know, it's up to him. But definitely want to get that going up and running soon.
All right, man. Well, thank you for talking
you
with
so
us today,
much. I
Henry,
appreciate
man. Round 1 Fitness Boxing Club, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yes, man. So make sure y'all check that out, man.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
your time, man.
All
All right. We got our next fighter, lightweight, 3-0. 2 wins by knockout, a professional already, Mr. George Perez in the building, 20 years old. How you doing?
What up, Zach?
How you doing, man?
All right.
Hey, just make sure y'all, I want to give a shout out once again to our sponsors, Carnitas, Don Pedro, Myra Vargas, Lucy Martinez Beauty Salon, United Union of Roofers, Local 11. So once again, much appreciated. You're watching Spectator Sporting on CAN TV. So George, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Man, so like, what inspired you to get into boxing?
What inspired me was, I think I started when I was 13 years old. Shit, I lost my first fight, but I think like, I had my first fight in the first 3 months I started boxing. I think I was just a fast learner, so like my body's like, you good enough, let's go. Let's try it. So we tried it, I lost though, but I think the main thing was like, I had fun, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, man, that's cool, I had fun, let's keep doing it. After that, I just kept training and more fights just kept coming, and I just started fighting, my amateur record just like, there's a whole resume on that.
Dang, that's good, man.
Okay. So I saw you fighting a guy on social media. He was wearing black trunks and he had the bald head with the braids on the back of his head. I didn't get his name, but I saw you dodged his left hook and then you came with a quick right hook counter punch, and you pretty much came with combos after that. And but you knocked him out and everything. Do you consider yourself elite counter puncher?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That's all we work on in the gym. Like we just keep working on that.
Yeah. I noticed that because if someone's very aggressive on you, you can really just elude that and come with a nice punch and eventually knock them out. And in your last fight, in the second round, you had 3 knockdowns.
Yeah.
And you ended up winning that fight by knockout. For the people who didn't see that fight, explain what happened in that.
So tell me the last fight, right?
Yeah.
So the last fight, it went 2 rounds. The first round, I just so I have 3 fights. The first 2 fights where I was really just getting into the rhythm of pro boxing because the gloves are smaller, way smaller. It's like just your fist. The amateurs, you got a lot of padding.
Right.
So like I said, I'm just getting into the rhythm of pro boxing and the distance itself because it's important, you know. It's a big difference from pros and amateurs. So so this third fight, I was already in the rhythm. I'm comfortable now in the ring, and what's it called? So my coach told me first round, just don't go crazy. Don't go crazy for the knockout because that's what happened in my first fight. I went crazy. I was like, I haven't fought in 2 years. I'm gonna just go for the knockout. I don't know what's gonna happen.
You was ready to go, huh?
So this fight came up. In that first round, take your time. Your fight, your pace. You know. So I took my time, and I started to see. He started throwing. He didn't really throw as much, but he threw a little bit. Once he threw, I started seeing openings. Like, okay, I know what to do. Second round, I went through all those openings, and then that's how I got the knockout. So he was, I'm just a faster fighter, the best fighter, the better fighter at that night.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
The favorite knockdown was with the left hook. No, left uppercut.
Left uppercut?
You hit him
Yeah, I
with the
remember.
left
That's the
uppercut.
last one, right?
Yeah. That was my favorite part of the fight.
Thank
Now, you're 3-0. You got 2 knockouts as a professional fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You're only 20 years old. Things are going smooth. Is there anything you need to improve on?
I need to improve on having my hands up. They told me I'm always like this.
Okay.
You know, the style. But in the pros is different. They want me to have my hands up now, so I gotta work on that. I gotta work on probably get my strength up. I gotta get more powerful, so I get the knockouts. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So you explained a couple differences, but like you already explained a couple. But what's like the biggest difference between amateur and professional boxing? I know you said the gloves are smaller. What's some other big differences you noticed?
The big differences. In the amateurs, you're fighting like every week, for sure.
Okay.
You don't really you could get hurt, but like I said, it's just a lot of padding, so it's just a bunch of pounding. You can fight every week. There's tournaments, you fight every day. That's what I basically. I mainly did that. I didn't do a lot of local fights. I'm always traveling. I was
Okay.
at the big tournaments, you know. So I think that's important because when you're fighting tournaments, you're fighting the best of the best only. And that's where I got my experience at, and that's the main thing for right there.
Okay, cool. So like you explained a little bit this too, but your training, like you say, there's a couple things you.
So my training.
Yeah.
So when I train, I'm in camp.
Okay.
So that's where I leave home for about 2-3 months.
Okay.
And so I'm in camp at a building, a church, and then in the basement is a boxing gym. It's called Chicago Youth Boxing Club. Shout out CYBC.
All right.
So, but yeah, we're right there. There's a house on top where I live with my best friend, best friend slash manager. You know, he keeps me on check, keeps me on game, keeps me on point, keeps me training, keeps me eating good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we train at every day. We wake up at 7 in the morning, train at 8:30, go back to sleep, eat some shakes, and then we're back at it again for the second workout at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for like 2 hours every single day, every day. It's
Wow.
right on.
Wow, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
That's why I think like there's like these other fighters like I'm like there's no way I got it because no one trains like me. Like,
Okay.
there's no way. Like, I train extra hard. You feel me?
That's what's up.
Yeah. So now, is there a boxer past or present that you admire?
Shakur Stevenson.
Okay. Okay.
He's a bad man. I feel like we just like have a lot of like because like I just like his IQ and his game. Like I feel like I could relate to him a lot because his style. First of all, he a southpaw. I'm a southpaw too, but it's funny because I originally they taught me orthodox. They didn't know I was a lefty for like 3 years.
Oh wow. Wow.
And then they taught me writing on my left. They're like, "You a lefty?" I'm like, "Yeah." I started training lefty for after that, and then I know both now. So
That's good.
But yeah, back to Shakur. So I like him because I like the way he think in the game. Like when he's in the ring, I feel like we had the same. How do you say it?
Same mentality, same style.
Yeah, same style and everything. So I feel like I relate to him a lot. I like him.
So
I do take a lot from him too.
I'm guessing you taking him over Oscar Valdez.
Nah.
No.
Nah, I like both of them. I just go for both of them. Like whoever wins is better man tonight.
Okay.
I really like both of them though, for sure.
Well, yeah, there's some other big fights going on. Devin Haney's fighting in June. Tank Davis is fighting Canelo. Is there a big fight that you're looking forward to in the professional boxing?
Canelo.
Canelo.
Yeah, that's my man right there. He cool.
Yeah.
He cool. I want to see that.
The counter puncher, you know, he's
Yeah.
a really good counter puncher. You are too, so I can see that.
So when and where your next fight is gonna be at?
My next fight, Cicero Stadium. You know, shout out Harv Bangerz because they put me on for this fight. It's at Cicero Stadium, April 30th. So that's where I'll be at for sure.
Nice. You know who your opponent gonna be at?
Nah, not yet, but whoever it is, you know, they're gonna get it.
Hey, that's what's up, man. This is George Perez, lightweight 3-0, 2 knockouts, by the way, from Little Village in Chicago. So, man, make sure y'all check him out. Fight at the Harv Bangerz Boxing Club on the 30th. Right, can't wait to see it, man. Appreciate your time, man.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. And our next person we got coming in is Mr. Deontay Pettigrew. Mr. Heavyweight, how you doing, bro?
AKA the handsome heavyweight.
All right.
Hey, that's what's up, man. I just want to give a shout out to all our sponsors right quick. Carnitos Don Pedro, Myra Vargas, Lucy Martinez Beauty Salon, and United Union of Roofers Local 11. Once again, much appreciated. You're watching Spectator Sport on CAN TV. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wadi. So I'll start with you. What got you into boxing? What inspired you to start boxing?
You know, it was real simple for me, man. It was like boxing started as like some just getting in shape stuff for me. More than a few years back, like, man, you know, getting in shape, staying in shape. Yeah. Boxing was good for that. But I got like a super competitive bug, man. Like, if me and you start a Subway sandwich at the same time, man, it's a race. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a race. So it took about all of like 3 weeks for me to be like, man, I want to do this. Right. You know, it's a lion mentality. You know, if I'm around something for, you know, something I like for a period of time, no matter how long, man, I want to do it.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah, so in your last fight, you knocked the guy out in the first round, correct?
Minute and 29 seconds in.
Wow. So for the people who didn't see that fight, describe what happened. How did you knock him out?
Well, I actually dropped him twice in the fight. He came out really aggressive, man, which kind of threw me off. A lot of fighters don't really start super aggressive. Came out super aggressive. Caught a left hook on the glove. Short right hand, right on the chin. Ooh. Gave his leg, I call it the stanky leg, you know what I'm saying? Gave the noodle leg. He went down. He made the count. So, you know, I didn't do the rookie mistake. Jumped all on him all crazy. I found my shot. Faked the shot to the body, came over the top. Left hand so solid, it shot through my arm and landed the flesh on his chin. He went out. The ropes held him up a little bit. You know, and because it's a hyena sport, I gave him one more for the roll, put him out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's a lot of excitement there that some people miss. So now,
I keep it exciting, baby. I keep it exciting.
There you go.
So are you a brawling boxer? Like, what's your style?
Nah, man, I fancy myself a technician, man. And, you know, in layman's terms, I like to pick my shots. So I won't even put myself in a counter puncher category, even though I like to fight off my back foot a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I am one of the few fighters that I've seen personally that fights well going back. So I like to pick my shots, you know what I'm saying? But when the time comes, man, if you want to get in that phone booth, man, I'll get in that phone booth with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
So you 5-0, 4 knockouts. Everything's going smooth. Is there anything you need to improve on in your game?
Well, I'm 6-0 because I always claim my next victim. You know what I'm saying? I always claim my next victim. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
I like that.
If I feel like I have to improve on one, it'd be overall conditioning, man. You know, you can never be in too good a shape for boxing. It's like I said, it's a hyena sport, it's a warrior sport. Your body is your tool. So you know, overall conditioning. You know, I can lose some of these love handles a little bit, but that comes as I progress. And then anybody tell you any different, man? Boxing is always improving. You got guys that's world champions, pound for pound greats that still work on their fundamentals every day.
Absolutely.
So I'm constantly working on fundamentals, constantly working on feet, hand discipline, and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So I like to improve as a whole. I won't pick any weakness because I don't feel like I got like a glaring weakness.
Mm-hmm. All right,
nice. We speaking with Harv, Bangerz Boxing. Shout out to Julio, man, for setting this all up. So now that you're a professional, you fought through the amateur ranks. What's the biggest difference you've seen between amateur and professional?
Outside of the usual, man, you know, the headgear obviously, you know, is a big difference. And then, like my boy George said, the gloves are a lot different. Man, I put on a professional glove my last fight, and it felt like a mitten that your grandma used to put on. It felt so tight. I said, man, if I hit somebody with this, I'm gonna break them. And I mean, that's what happened. The gloves are way different, you know what I'm saying? But I think the stage almost is different. The setting is crazy, man. You walk up to the stairs, the lights be on you, and I'm a real person, man. I like people. I don't have a stage fright syndrome like a lot of people have. Yeah. But that's different, man. Sometimes you get an amateur show, maybe 13 people there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The cameras are not there. You know, it's just the lights. The lights are different, man. That moment. It's a spectacle.
So when you training, like, what's your is it a different approach from training from an amateur fight to a professional fight?
Yeah, because the amateur fights are shorter fights, and you don't really get to see amateur fights. You don't particularly know who you're gonna fight in most tournaments because you don't know who advances. Okay. Professionals, you get to prepare for your opponent. So I'm looking at a guy's style. That's a good shot, man. Look at that boy. I went with the pink this fight, man. Shout out to my cousin / sister, man. She beat breast cancer. Shout out to her.
Oh man, that's what's up.
That was a shout out to her, man.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, but like I was saying,
that's dope.
you get to specifically prepare for an opponent. So if I got an opponent and I know who it is, I see what he's doing. I learn how to counteract that, as well as implement a game plan for myself. So I think that's a big difference too, because you can prepare for individual opponents.
Okay.
Yeah. So, past or present, is there a boxer that you admire?
So I would break this down into two categories. One is because I'm a heavyweight, and as a heavyweight, I have to give my shout out to other heavyweights, because heavyweights are a different breed. It's the most dangerous division. It's man, whoever took these are crazy good. So my favorite heavyweight of all time, man, Big George Foreman. I just like him because he's a pure wrecking ball. He was unstoppable in his prime. And my dark horse favorite heavyweight was a guy named Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, man.
Okay, Riddick Bowe.
Because if he was a dog, man.
Yeah, he was cold.
And if Riddick Bowe would have put the freaking miles under his belt, he'd be one of the greats. He was just lazy.
Yeah.
Like me.
Well, him and Holyfield had a nice little thing.
That was one of I love watching those fights. And then, so that was my adage to the heavyweights. But my favorite fighter of all time is Andre Ward, man.
Okay.
And I was arguing with the guys in the back, man, telling them, they were saying Andre Ward is boring, and I say, man, Andre Ward, in layman's terms, is a grandmaster of chess.
Okay.
A grandmaster of chess is somebody who can think, attack, defend, and overwhelm a person. Andre Ward, to me, is the purest tactician of a boxing ring. You got the guys that's bigger names like the Floyds, and you got all those guys like that. But Andre Ward, if you're looking for a pure essence of boxing, Andre Ward is him.
Okay. Now, there's some big upcoming fights in professional boxing coming up. Heavyweight, Tyson Fury's coming up. You got Canelo, Ugas, Errol Spence. Is there a fight that you're really looking forward to seeing?
Well, I think Tyson Fury gonna steamroll Dylan White.
Yeah.
I think gonna steamroll him. Canelo is fighting Bivol, which is an intriguing fight to me. Bivol is a bigger fighter, but I don't think he has the power to keep Canelo at bay. So I got Canelo. Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevens is going to be a fight, as well as Devin Haney and George Kambosos is going to be a fight. To me, those are two toss-ups. I think Shakur Stevens and I'm gonna go back to Andre Ward. He's not being trained by Andre Ward, but Andre Ward handles it overseas. They know they work with each other hand in hand. So he is putting that stuff in the Shakur Stevens, man. And Oscar Valdez is tough, and he's coming from that Team Canelo camp. That's just they got thoroughbreds out that camp, man. So those two specifically, I'm not really concerned about Errol Spence and Ugas. I think Ugas a little old. Spence, even though after his accident, he might have lost a step. I think he's still got enough to get past Ugas. I hope they make the T-Bud and him next.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope so. No question about it. So, when is your next fight? Are you fighting in also in Cicero on the 30th?
Sir, Cicero Stadium, April 30th. Harv War Bangerz.
Yeah.
Shout out to Julio. We gonna do it, man. I'm gonna bring some excitement to the show. We gonna get it in, man. So I gotta shout out Julio, man. And promoters like him in Chicago, man, keeping the Chicago fighters busy. Hopefully we can get this back. For a long time, Chicago only had like one true promoter. Yeah. And I appreciate Julio for trying to, man, look at that boy feet up, man. That was the check right here. Okay. And so his legs got so stiff, man, he couldn't do nothing but go down, man. Wow. I don't know if they can see this at home, but this is crazy right here. But yeah, so shout out to Julio for trying to give us another outlet on the Chicago promotion scene.
So not only are you knocking people out, you also protecting some people around here. Talk about that.
So that's my job outside of boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I am a personal bodyguard. I own a security company here in Chicago.
Okay.
We focus on a lot of different contracts, and my company's focused on the entertainment business specifically. So we do a lot of the stuff like festivals, like Lollapalooza. We got the African Fest coming up. We do some nightclubs and stuff like that. So me personally, I go on tour with a lot of different people. So a couple clients of mine. I don't know if I can name drop on Can TV, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's what I do, man. Personal protection is what I do.
That's dope, man. I want to thank you for coming by and talking with us, speaking with us. Deontay Tay Handsome Pettigrew.
So it's the handsome heavyweight. Deontay Pettigrew. That's me, man. They call me the handsome heavyweight.
Man, that's the handsome heavyweight. Already 6-0, 5-0, technically 6-0 in his mind right now. That he's already claiming it from Washington Park, by the way, in Chicago as well too, man. We want to want to thank him for being on the show as well. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally.
Don't cut me yet, man. I gotta shout out Sam Brawling Boxer, man.
Okay.
That's my trainer. That's my coach. That's my everything. He actually sideways my manager right now and everything. So I didn't want to get off here without shouting out Sam, man. Sam did everything for me to get me to this point. Sam Brawling Boxer. Big dog, Henry Coyle, man. Gotta give it to them.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you. You've been watching Spectator Sport on Can TV. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. We've been interviewing the Harv Bangerz boxers. They got a big event coming up on the 30th. Make sure everybody check it out. It's gonna be on 1809 South Cicero in Cicero. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, I'm Zach Roach, Adi Wally. We out. Peace.